What is up, you beautiful people, and welcome back to the Upper 90 YouTube soccer channel. It's been international break, so we've been talking about that. We have one more video on international break before we start going back to the Premier League, since it does start up this upcoming weekend. Looking forward to Chelsea versus Leicester City. In today's video though, I want to go over the playoff system for the World Cup next year for 2022 in Qatar, so stick around as we dive deeper into this. For those that don't know who I am, my name is Mike, huge fan of this sport, and like I said, in today's video, I want to go over the playoff system that is happening in Europe.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me?
Now, if you didn't watch this past week with international games, there were a lot of big wins and a lot of big losses for certain clubs, and today I want to go over how this system will break down later next year when they play these games in March. Now, the draw isn't until next Friday, Friday the 26th, where we'll actually see how teams are seeded. Right now, there are two pots right now. There's a pot 1 and a pot 2, so you got your seeded versus your unseeded. Now, how this is going to work, we're going to break up into 3 different groups, teams of 4. So what that means is that some teams that are seeded will not be going to the World Cup. So that could be Italy, that could be Portugal, that could be a lot of other teams. Czech Republic is also a pretty good team, as we saw in the Euros this past summer. Poland, Sweden, just to name a few other teams. Now, how this breaks down, and I'm going to be looking at my phone here just to make sure I have all the teams in the right position. So sitting at number 1 in the seed, we have Portugal, followed by Scotland, Italy, Russia, Sweden, Wales. Now that makes up the first pot, or the seeded group. The second part then, we have Turkey, Poland, North Macedonia, Ukraine, Austria, and Czech Republic. Now, like I said, these teams will be put into a draw system where then they will play against each other. Now, mind that Ukraine and Russia cannot play against each other due to circumstances and everything like that, so you won't see those guys get set up against each other, but otherwise, pretty much anything can go. Now, how this is going to work, a seeded team will play an unseeded team. Now, like I said, there are 3 groups of 4, so that means there's going to be a seeded group, unseeded, seeded, unseeded. So therefore, 2 seeded groups are going to have to play each other, or 2 unseeded, or seeded versus unseeded in the final to make it to the World Cup. And like I said, that is where we can get real tricky, because certain teams may get unlucky and have to play each other. So like I said, Italy, Portugal could be in the same group. Italy, Sweden, and Poland, just to name a few different combinations. There's so many different things that can go on. And this is why it was such a big deal to get out of the playoff system, to stamp your road or stamp your passport to go to the road to 2022 Qatar World Cup, because right now it is pretty much up to chance, because anything can happen in these games, because pretty much in this group, I can see almost anyone beating any team on any given day, and therefore it'll be very tricky. Along with, these are extra games that the players have to play in this upcoming season then, which again, tired legs could make a huge difference when it comes to this. Now, I'm very bullish on Italy, since Jorginho, one of the better players for Chelsea. I know it is his fault right now that Italy is not going to the World Cup as right now. He missed the PK, which drew, and therefore Switzerland was able to go ahead of them and go out of their group to stamp, again, their passport to World Cup 2022. So this is going to be very tricky, to say the least. Now, with that being said, there's a possibility that we may not see Zlatan, Ronaldo, Gareth Bale, just to name a few players. This might be their last opportunity to go to a World Cup, and they may miss out on it just because of the playoff system. Now, I'm not saying they are granted into these games because they have such a big name to them. Again, you have to play each and every game, because every team is worthy of getting to the World Cup. And this is why this is such a huge term, because big name countries miss out on every single time it comes around. So my bold prediction, depending on how everything gets seeded, because obviously once it gets seeded, which again is February 26th, that's going to make a huge difference. But I see Italy advancing on this. I see Portugal advancing on this. And I think Poland or Czech Republic is going to be the other team that comes out of this whole group situation. Now again, all those teams could fall into the one and the same group, so only one of those teams could come out, but who knows how this is gonna go. So that is all I have for you today. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe down below. I greatly appreciate that. Helps get this video to more and more fans such as yourself. And also comment down below who you think is going to advance the World Cup of this playoff system next year, 2022 in Qatar. I'm really curious to see what you think. So that is it, and I will see you next time.